such a time as this.
And welcome back to For Such a Time as This, the place where there is no such thing as a silent witness. So here's what's going on. Presidential contest is now raging, and some time ago, a few days ago, Trump actually, how can I put this mildly? He said Kamala wasn't black. And what he meant by that was not African American, which he is right. Mother was Indian, father's Jamaican and Irish. She's not, by traditional understanding, an African American, one who was descended from slaves in the United States of America. Trump said that. Now, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do it, but I'm not a politician. Trump is. But from the biblical perspective, Acts 17:26 says, and he has made from one blood every nation of men to dwell on all the face of the earth, and has determined their pre-appointed times and the boundaries of their dwellings. We're from one blood. We're all from Adam and Eve. We have different characteristics. Some of us moved south from the cradle of civilization down to Africa and stayed in that sun a little long. It looked like me. Some of them went north of where they got off that boat, Noah's boat, and went north and went up to the cold and looked white. But it's from one blood. I don't care. But the Democrats play the racial games. So here's the one racial game they played with the Congressman Nancy Mace. They asked her a question about Trump saying she wasn't black, and they went after her. Look at it.
Vice President Harris's race and then suggesting that she's not actually black. Why is he doing that? Should he stop?
Well, I mean,
yes or no?
I didn't hear him say it. I didn't hear what he said about her race. I am not going to weigh in on her race. As a woman,
He did say it.
Okay, well, as a woman, I want to weigh in.
She turned black, he said. He said she was raised Indian. She was Indian, all he knew. Now she turned black.
Well, she's a mixed race.
They asked the wrong person. Why you ask Nancy Mace that question? You asking the wrong person. You need to bring this dude named Vince Ellison on. He's fast becoming one of my go-tos. You should have asked him this. You should have brought Vince on your show. He could answer that question.
There's only one unpardonable sin in the black community. You can sell dope. You can commit murder. You can kill your mama in front of 100,000 folks and might find a way to get some type of absolution for it. But the one thing that you cannot get any absolution for in the black community whatsoever is passing. Man, that is the unforgivable sin. I think the only thing worse than passing in the black community is child molestation. Might be equal to it. Raping a baby. And they just might be equal. Man, I would hate to see the white man that would tell my sisters they weren't black. Let me tell y'all something. If a black brother questioned my blackness, I'd just beat the hell out of him. If a white man questioned my blackness, that'd be the last mistake he ever made. The last one. He'd never make another mistake again. I think you get my meaning. Donald Trump questions Kamala Harris' blackness in front of the whole world. And all she says is, that's all he does is divisiveness. Oh, that's the tail right there. She ain't no sister. I had to put all three of my sisters in straitjackets and lock them up for 6 months to keep them trying to kill Donald Trump for saying that about them.
For those of you who don't know, let me educate you. Passing is the unpardonable sin in the black community. When he says passing, this goes back to slave days, when African American, shall I say, lighter-skinned African Americans were passing as if they were not black. So you have a light-skinned, a black guy who says, I'm not black, I'm white. I'm not black, I'm Mexican. I'm not black, I'm French. Down in my neck of the woods in Louisiana, you had a lot of those passant blancs. We called them little Creoles. That was big. Passing was big. And once the black community found out that you were trying to disinherit your blackness, or you were somehow ashamed of the black community and you were passing as not being black, oh, that's the unforgivable sin. The thinking goes, if you don't want to be with us then if you didn't want to be with us then, don't be with us now. You know, that's the unpardonable sin that Vince Ellison is talking about. And let me tell you something, he's right. He is right. Because when you said that, growing up, now times have changed, world is different, but Kamala Harris is older than I am. And when you challenge, like he's saying, again, you know, this is pre-Christ, you question somebody's blackness, them's be fighting words. And the fact that her response was, according to Vince Ellison, divisiveness. Yeah, if she was, someone who grew, if someone really grew up in Oakland, or New Orleans, or Chicago, or New York, on the west side of Chicago, south side of Chicago, and you said they weren't black, oh, it would have been a totally different. That would have been different the way that played out. Yeah, Kamala, you probably ain't one of.
For such a time as this,